Today I am making the very popular Hawaiian rolls. If you have not had Hawaiian rolls, maybe you've been kept under a rock because they're super popular around here in Oklahoma. We love Hawaiian rolls from just a dinner roll to making sliders. And today I'm going to teach you how to make it at home, and it's a lot easier than you think. Hi, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and we're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget. One thing that we love is copycat recipes, and so today is a very popular copycat recipe that has been one of the most popular recipes on our site for years. And you're gonna love it. You can grab the full recipe with all our tips and nutritional information. We have it linked in the description, or you can just go to eatingonadime.com and search Hawaiian rolls. Okay, let's go make us a copycat recipe. Activate our yeast. Now let's talk about this a little bit. We are using, just dropped that in the water, that was silly. We're using an active dry yeast. The very important thing is check your expiration. If it's been sitting in the pantry for a while, it might be expired. And if it's expired, it's not going to work. And if you can't find an expiration date, toss it out and then go ahead and purchase new ones just to be sure that this recipe works out well. Now we're doing a packet, but it says on here that a packet is approximately 2¼ teaspoons of yeast. So if you have a jar of active dry yeast, then that way you can still make this recipe, and we have that in the ingredients as well. So we're going to start off with about a cup of water, a third cup of sugar, and then a packet of that yeast. It's been 10 minutes, and as you can see that it's bubbled up and it's been activated. So now we're ready to continue making our Hawaiian rolls. Now I'm going to transfer this into a bowl. Normally I would just start with the bowl, but I wanted to use the glass bowl so that way you could easily see it on camera, it activating. So I'm just going to pour all this into the bowl, and you want to use a stand mixer because we want to use that dough hook since we're making a bread. I love my KitchenAid mixer. I was just talking about how I've officially had it for 17 years now and it's still going strong. So while they are expensive, I mean, you know, in 17 years it still works great. I mean, it's a little beat up, but it still is amazing. So it's worth the investment if you haven't gotten one. We're going to use, I guess I should have showed this to you. We're going to use the dough hook. This is what it looks like. So even if you have a KitchenAid, whatever mixer you have, you should have a dough hook attachment. And that's what we're going to use when we're making this. Okay, get that on. Next, we're going to add about 3/4 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of oil. You can do vegetable oil, canola oil. Olive oil should work good as well. Then we're going to start I want to add 1 cup of flour. We need 3 cups of flour, but we're going to do 1 cup at a time so we can slowly mix in with that dough attachment. I had to quickly go and grab me a knife. Now I want to show you when you measure flour, when you're doing baking, it's very important that you don't pack it down. You do a quick scoop and then make sure it's kind of overflowing, and then use a knife or the back of a spoon or the back of the spatula. My opening isn't very big. Just to get it flattened on top. You don't want to press it down. If you're pressing it down, then you're going to get like really dense bread. So if you make this and you find it to be dense, make it again, making sure you're measuring flour, because if you put too much flour in it, that is what's making it dense and not poof up and be fluffy like we love our Hawaiian rolls to be. So we're going to let this mix for just a little bit, and then we're going to add the next cup. I'm going to use my spatula to just randomly push down the flour on the sides, because when you're working with a dough hook, in the beginning, you're like, this isn't doing anything, but it will be doing its thing as you keep adding the flour. So we're going to add our next cup. Quick measure. Let me lower this. And turn it on. You could add all at once if you wanted to, but I just find this incorporates it easier if you're just taking the few extra minutes to add them individually. I'm gonna get my last cup ready for when it's ready. Now it's time to add our last cup of flour. And we're gonna let this combine, making sure you use that spatula to get the flour that gets on the sides. We want this completely incorporated. Once it's incorporated and mixed together, then we're gonna kind of watch our clock, and we want the, it's kind of loud to talk over, sorry. We want the paddle to knead that dough for about 2 to 3 minutes inside it, but you don't want to start that timer until it's actually mixed in together. Now you can see that all the flour is incorporated and it's becoming like a clump. I'm just going to turn this up and we're going to let it do its thing and knead it for about 2 to 3 minutes. So you can see how it looks. Let's lower it. You know, all the sides are really clean on the bowl, and it's ready for us to divide it into rolls. Now that this is ready, we are going to oil a glass bowl because we have to let it rise. We're just going to take a little bit of the canola oil or vegetable oil, whatever oil you got, and just take a paper towel and quickly just oil it up so that way as it rises, it doesn't stick to the bowl. I'm going to take this hook off. We're going to get it off of the hook. Let's make this easier. I'm a hot mess today. There we go. Kind of lump it up into a ball. It shouldn't be very sticky. That's how you know that it's been kneaded well. A little bit of sticky is fine. Then we just need to get some saran wrap, or we got some clean, you know, any kind of wrap, and just cover the bowl. Just to prevent, you know, anything getting on it. I'm gonna use some scissors because I hate those little cutting things. Anybody else? Cover that up. And then we're just going to let this sit on the counter for about an hour. We want this dough to double in size. So if it's really warm in your kitchen, it might not take a full hour to do. And if it's really cold, it might take a little bit long. So just kind of eye it. And then we'll be back as soon as it doubles in size. We have officially doubled in size. So now what we're gonna do, let's get this off. We are going to spray an 8x8 pan with some non-stick spray. Then we're going to take our dough and we're going to divide this up into about 9 equal-ish portions. And we're just going to plop them right in. We want to do kind of round balls. So what I'm going to do with this is kind of separate it into thirds in the bowl. Okay, like so. Then I'll take each third and then I'm going to divide it into thirds to place along here. I hope that makes sense. Put that in there. So then we're just going to roll it in a quick ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. Boop. This one, I'm going to take a little bit out and add it to this one. And place them right next to each other like that. And then we're going to continue that with each. So remember, take that big ball, divide it into thirds, and then divide each piece into thirds. And so it's 9 pieces that you're going to have. Now you can easily double this recipe. You're just going to want to put it in a 9x13 pan. Now that they're all finished, we're gonna take that, I'm just gonna reuse that same plastic wrap, but you don't have to. We're gonna cover this just loosely on top, and we're gonna let this rise again for 30 more minutes until they double in size. Again, they're ready. As you can see, they have risen. We let them rise for about 30 minutes. They've kind of just basically doubled in size. You can see that they're touching, and they're beautiful. Now we have already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. We're gonna place this in the oven, and they only take 15 minutes to cook. You just wanna cook them until they are lightly golden brown, just like you would find in a store-bought Hawaiian roll. So we're going to place this right on the center rack, and it just needs about 15 minutes to cook. The timer went off, and I've checked them, and I wanted to show you what they look like. As you can see, they're starting to get brown. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate them just because my oven cooks a little browner in the back, but I think this needs another like 2 more minutes. I just want them a little bit more golden brown. I wanted to show you, I really like how much browner they've gotten. I don't feel like it's showing up on camera, but they are a lot browner. And then we're gonna just go put these on a cooling rack, and we're gonna immediately butter them. It smells like fresh baked bread in here. I can't talk. We're gonna let this cool. I just have it on like a hot pad, or you could do it on your stovetop or cooling rack. But we wanna just slather some butter right on top. I'm just brushing. Like, you don't even need a brush because it's very hot, so it's gonna melt immediately. So I just got like a tab with my knife, and we're just gonna rub it all over it. And then we're gonna let it cool slightly before we eat. So we've let them cool for a few minutes. They are still warm, and it's time to dig in. If you are wanting a foolproof, super simple Hawaiian roll to make from home, this is your recipe. Now, just like all our copycat recipes, they're not exactly identical, but it's a fun alternative that is super close. I love the butter on top. It's so good. Sorry, I got a big bite. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Homemade rolls are just so much better than store-bought. Now, a few things that I like to do, just because I like things done a certain way, is I love when we do, they're not like the Hawaiian rolls though, so if you're wanting to see the exact copycat, ignore me for the next 30 seconds. I like to, when I brush the butter on top, I like to sprinkle a little garlic salt on top because they're amazing with garlic salt on top. But I like to do that with the store-bought rolls too. So you do you. But this recipe is super simple. I love it. It's delicious. And you can get the full recipe linked in the description or by going to eatingonadime.com. I hope that today we've shown you that you can actually make rolls from scratch without actually doing a ton of work. They're a lot easier than you think. And it's super fun to make with the kids. And it's a great way to jazz up dinner. This recipe is actually one of our most popular for holidays, from Easter to Christmas to Thanksgiving. That's when the page views really skyrocket on this recipe because it's a fun homemade recipe that doesn't take a lot of work. So thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our family-friendly recipes. I'm so glad you joined me, and I will see you next time in my kitchen. Bye, friends.